Leanna smiles back at me as she leads the way to the shops. Wait up! We find the general store with ease since the marketplace itself is quite small. In fact, I'm surprised by how busy this store is. This is a lovely store. I guess if you're the only general store around, business is bound to be good. As Leanna picks out a couple items, I look around the shop. I notice people of all backgrounds wearing clothes ranging from the leather I'd seen in Meadow Hill to intricately embroidered robes. They really do get all types traveling through here. Once Leanna is finished, I follow her to the counter to pay for her items.
Will that be all for today?
I think so, sir. Thank you. Leanna nods.
Your total comes to 34 coins.
Bronze, silver, or gold. Leanna's eyes widen.
34 coins for these? It should be at most 30.
I have no idea what they're really talking about. The shopkeeper frowns apologetically. He doesn't seem too happy about the price either.
I'm sorry, miss. The goods themselves are only 20 coins. The rest of the cost is the 70% tax.
What kind of ripoff is this of 70% tax? Thought here... Yeah, never mind. And I thought taxes in America were bad. That's exactly where I was going. Sarcastic remark right away. I hope you at least get free universal health insurance and education with those taxes. Both Leanna and the shopkeeper look at me in confusion. Leanna furrows her brow.
I don't remember the tax being so high in the past.
What was it before? 70% seems ridiculous.
The mayor only recently increased the tax.
Has no one asked why? It doesn't seem fair.
Incredibly unfair it might be. The man nods.
We did in the beginning, but then the mayor hired enforcers of the new law.
Leanna frowns, but doesn't say anything more. The shopkeeper continues to look apologetic as he gestures at her items.
I'm really sorry about this, miss, but I don't have any other choice.
I mean, at the same point in time, he is kind of backed into a wall on this.
I understand. It's not your fault.
Because it really isn't. She hands over the coins.
Thank you for understanding. Safe travels.
But still, that's insane. As we head out, Leanna seems quieter than usual. Are you okay?
Something about this just doesn't seem right. New tax rules and new guards to enforce them? I came through here only a few days ago on my way to Meadow Hill, and the tax hadn't been changed then.
So things are sounding very suspicious, you say?
It all seems too sudden.
Let's investigate? I think we got scammed. This really doesn't concern us. Let's investigate. I got my detective hat on. We should find out what's going on here. Leanna blinks. Why the look of confusion?
Really?
I nod. We can't just leave it alone if something foul is at play here. Leanna smiles.
You're right.
Damn right I am.
Anyway, let's go meet up with Zach.
That's probably a good plan. I nod. We make our way to the lane of armory and smiths and peek through a few shop windows before we spot Zach. A guard looms over him. Uh-oh. This doesn't look promising. Leanna frowns as we enter the shop.
This doesn't concern you. Stay out of it.
The music got ominous.
It became my concern when you threatened him in front of me.
Threatened? All I told him was what may happen to his store if he doesn't pay up for these protective services.
Who is he being protected from?
Leave. Now.
The guard laughs.
What makes you think I'd listen to you?
Zach glares at the guard as he flips open his coat and reveals his discharger. He grips the second discharger on the table. The color drains from the guard's face. Yeah, that's right. You messed up, buddy.
2 dischargers with purple spheres and a black trench coat.
I don't see why that's important.
It can't be.
Zack shifts slightly, increasing the ferocity in his eyes. The guard tries to hide his fear with false bravado. He turns towards the shopkeeper.
You're lucky your friend was here today. He won't always be here, though.
Oh, that's not a good thing to say. After imparting one last subtle threat, the guard hurries out of the shop, brushing past Leanna and I. Zack relaxes, and the shopkeeper sighs in relief.
Thank you.
That have to do with this new tax you mentioned?
Ah, so he now knows. The shopkeeper nods.
The taxes just keep growing. I've tried to keep my prices as low as possible for the customers, but then our taxes grow and, well, you saw what happens next.
Things get interesting. His fingers tremble as he takes back the discharger. I think he's still shaken up by what happened.
I'm sorry. I still need a few more minutes to finish up the repairs. It would have been done by now if we hadn't been interrupted.
Zack nods. The weaponsmith gives him a grateful smile as he returns to his workroom. Tax issues again.
It looks like it's affecting all of the stores, and it's only going to get worse.
I'm not going to let it escalate.
We didn't want to either. Leanna and I glance at Zack in surprise.
You two head to the inn. I have something to take care of first.
What are you planning to do?
I'm going to pay a visit to the mayor.
Will help a good Samaritan mercenary? ? Stay quiet. Well, I mean, that's kind of our plan, too. We wanted to get down to the bottom of things, so we'll help. We're coming, too. Zack looks surprised.
Something here is just not right. We can't sit by and do nothing.
The shopkeeper returns and places Zack's discharger on the counter. Well, that was a quick little repair.
All fixed.
Thanks. Here.
Zack offers coins to the vendor, who shakes his head.
Please, don't worry about it. You've already done me a huge favor by helping me with the guard.
A nice guy. Zack holsters his discharger and places the coins on the counter anyway.
I insist.
The shopkeeper looks conflicted, then sighs and nods gratefully. Consider it a compliment for a very well done job, and just for the fact of you should be paid for doing your job and your craft. Zack leads the way out of the shop and through the town. His footsteps are long and full of purpose, which is a change from his quiet, cautious demeanor. I can't help but look at him with a newfound respect. This is the first time I've seen him so determined and driven. Soon, we arrive in front of a large, elaborate mansion. It looks very out of place compared to the modest shops in the rest of the town. 2 men guard the entrance. Zack pauses and sizes up the guards. Use the element of surprise for 2 quick sneak attacks? Talk your way in. You know what? I'm more of the passive person myself. I'd kind of talk my way in. Use my my charisma skill. We should ask them if we could see the mayor.
I doubt that would work.
It doesn't hurt to try.
Zack frowns, but after some thought, he nods. I mean, if we fail, we do it your way.
We'll try that first. If that fails, we go to Plan B.
Plan B? Zack has already moved towards the guards and doesn't hear my question. I face Leanna. Do you know what his plan B is? She shakes her head.
Let's just hope it doesn't resort to that.
We catch up to Zack.
Halt! What is your business here?
I'm here to see the mayor.
We're here to see the mayor.
What the man in the trench coat says.
Does he expect your audience?
Yes. Zack shakes his head.
No, but I need to speak with him about this latest tax hike.
The tax hike?
The guards glance at each other and lower their weapons slightly. It almost seems as if they disapprove of the taxes too. And the plot thickens.
You guys don't seem too happy with the taxes either.
One of the guards hesitates, then nods.
My sister runs the bakery in town, and the taxes have been hurting her business.
Then why haven't you done anything about it?
We tried, as have some of the other guards. When we protested, the treasurer recommended the mayor hire real guards.
I mean, you guys do live in town too, so you can't have an opinion? He glowers as he mentions the treasurer.
Treasurer?
Yeah, things have gotten really strange ever since he came to town. Suddenly the mayor is passing crazy rules he never would have passed before.
Most suspicious. The other guard elbows his comrade.
Quiet down. Do you want one of his lackeys to hear?
The first guard frowns and falls silent. Leanna raises a hand to her chin in thought.
This treasurer sounds really suspicious.
Most suspicious. The guard motions to her manipulator.
Wait, you're a mage knight?
Leanna blinks.
Yes, that's correct.
Can you scan the treasurer for magic use? I swear, he's doing...
Not your crazy theories again. They already have a court mage to see to that.
Okay, but who hired this court mage then?
Yes, a court mage who was assigned by the treasurer.
And there it is. The second guard frowns but doesn't reply.
If we let you through, will you just scan around and see if you notice anything?
Leanna nods.
Yes, I'll do what I can.
Just be careful. Some of the treasurer's hired guards may not be so fond of you poking around.
I mean, they can get over it. Both guards step to the side.
On your way.
Let's go.
See, Zach, talking worked. Zach leads the way again. We follow behind as Leanna fiddles with her manipulator. As we progress through the mansion, we pass unnoticed by the clerks and the guards milling about. They must assume we have a reason to be here if we got through the front door. Makes sense to me. Leanna stares intently at her manipulator, her brow furrowed in confusion.
This doesn't make any sense.
What is it?
The readings, they're so erratic. It's almost like there's... but there can't be.
There's what?
Shadow magic.
Someone want to fill in the newbie? Zach looks sharply at Leanna.
Shadow magic.
She reluctantly nods. Zach sets his jaw and tightens the grip on his dischargers. So, shadow magic. Someone mind telling me what that is?
It's forbidden magic.
She's entirely focused on her manipulator, clearly tuning me out.
It's coming from...
She jogs down a hallway and stops in front of a mahogany double doors.
behind there.
Suddenly, a voice calls out from behind us.
It's you!
From behind me? I mean, it's just the Pongo. Standing down the hall is the same guard from the shop.
How did you get in here? Intruders!
I mean, we walked in here, dude. All eyes fall on us as he begins yelling. The guards who previously ignored us now draw their weapons as they close in. Zach pulls out his dischargers.
You go deal with whatever that is. I'll keep them busy here.
I'm gonna let you do that. It looks like you're ready to have some fun. Zach kicks down one of the tables and drops behind it for cover.
Go! Now!
Yes, sir. I'm done joking around. As he raises his guns, purple energy swirls to life. He rains a hail of energy bolts down the hall in suppressive fire. Alright, now we kick down the mahogany doors. Leanna bursts through the doors, and I stay at her heels. The noise from the battle gradually fades away as we run deeper into the mansion. Eventually, the hall leads into a study. A carved wooden desk laden with books and ledgers, is in the center with bookcases surrounding it. A man wearing a hooded dark robe sits at the desk. He scribbles something with one hand while the other hand is hidden within his robe. An older man sits on the other side of the desk. His graying hair sticks out in strange angles and his embroidered clothes are slightly askew. He stares at the open ledgers on the desk, but his eyes are dull, as if they aren't really seeing it. Two guards stand by the doorway, still as statues, with those same dull eyes. The treasurer rises to his feet.
Who let these two in? I explicitly said no visitors.
Well, you got one now. Surprise! Leanna's manipulator pulses wildly, especially when she raises her arm towards him.
It's him! He's the source of the shadow magic!
Well, let's go kick his ass then. Neither the mayor nor the guards react.
How dare you make such accusations! Arrest her immediately!
The guards ready their weapons. Stop! We aren't here to fight you!
It's no use! He's influencing them with shadow magic!
A gust of wind gathers around Leanna, violently whipping her hair and clothes. It concentrates in her gauntleted palm, and she hurls it at them. The wind knocks the guards against the walls and blows open the robe of the treasurer, exposing his hidden hand. Within his palm is a dark crystal sphere. It looks like a marble of darkness and swirling smoke. From within the crystal are shadow tendrils which extend to the mayor and his two unconscious guards. Leanna's voice is flat when she speaks. I've never heard her sound so serious before.
A tainted spear, and the branding of void.
You have seen too much.
I have no idea what's going on, so how do I know I've seen too much? The treasurer raises the black sphere high, and shadow energy shoots straight towards Leanna. She raises her hand and creates another ball of wind, which she fires at the shadowy bolt. The shadow ball cuts through Leanna's magic like a knife through butter, and her wind scatters harmlessly into the room. That's not good. Freeze, push her out of the way. Oh, I'm pushing her out of the way right now. Leanna! I dash towards her and knock her out of the way. Ow! This is gonna hurt in the morning. I take the full brunt of the shadow blast and I'm flung back against the wall. Agony sears in my body. I grit through the pain and look at Leanna. It doesn't look like any of the magic hit her, so that's good. Ow. She rushes over, her face a mix of bewilderment and concern. You got this. This is painful AF. Just don't say anything. Just give the small smile. You got this. You're good. I muster up a smile. Go get him.
That was so reckless.
Leanna unsheathes her blade. A determined fire in her eyes, she faces the treasurer and raises her sword. Well, hot damn! That is one great shot right there. Her manipulator glows with power which flows into her blade, encasing it in a similar glow. Magic particles swirl around her as static sparks of energy lash out from her weapon. In an instant, she dashes towards the treasure in an inhuman speed. He fires 2 shadow bolts, but Leanna uses her blade to cut through the air and shoots off 2 slices of energy, which cut through the shadow magic.
What?
Yeah!
Leanna lunges and charges her blade towards the treasurer. Just before her sword would pierce him, the treasurer throws his tainted sphere to the ground. It shatters apart, and the shadowy mist leaks out of the orb, enclosing the room in a dark fog. The thick fog clouds my vision, so I can't see anything. As it slowly begins to fade, I make out Leanna watching her surroundings, but the treasurer is nowhere to be seen. Coward! When she doesn't see her enemy, the glow from her sword fades away.
Oh,
Ah, cool! I mean, they kind of hinted at these little added character images at the very bottom when we would have new characters towards the end of Chapter 5. So this is kind of cool to see. Not how I pictured the mayor, though. The mayor lets out a throaty groan. He rubs at his head, his eyes now looking groggy, like someone who has just woken up.
what is...
Leanna sheathes her blade.
Take it easy. You were under the effects of shadow magic.
shadow magic?
Yes, shadow magic. He shakes his head as if to free his thoughts. He must be trying to shake off the lingering effects of the magic.
Is it finally over?
Leanna nods. The mayor takes a few more minutes to compose himself. When his eyes seem more focused, he sighs in relief.
You have my thanks.
Suddenly, the door barges open and Zack races in. Behind him is a wave of guards.
Stop him!
He's with us!
The mayor stands unsteadily on his feet, but addresses the guards.
Leave them be.
Yeah, you listen to him.
But they... I said leave them be.
I'm not messing with that mayor. They hesitate and shoot confused glances at each other, but ultimately follow the order and lower their weapons.
Took you guys long enough.
If you were in here, you would understand what we just went through. He looks at me.
What are you doing down there?
Screw you, asshole. I was being a hero, and it worked, and now I have waifu points. I groan as I rotate onto my back. Leanna offers me a hand, which I accept.
He took a shadow blast. Aimed for me.
Zack blinks in surprise, but looks impressed. See? Waifu points.
Seems like you ended up being useful after all.
Bite me. Thanks? Leanna checks her manipulator, but it remains still.
The shadow magic is gone.
The mayor seems much more alert.
It was my treasurer, wasn't it?
Yes. Leanna nods. He sighs heavily and sits back down in his chair.
When he first arrived into town, I thought he would be like all the other travelers and go on his way.
But he didn't, did he?
But he said he knew how to make this town even greater than what it is now. He had ideas on how we could become more than just a wayward stop. The first step was to increase taxes to build up our treasury.
He hangs his head in his hands.
All I wanted was to help the people here have better lives. But all I've done is cause them suffering.
You weren't in control of yourself.
But it was me who made all the rulings and enforced those tax laws.
Yeah, but essentially you were a puppet. Leanna shakes her head.
It wasn't you. That man had a tainted sphere, and he was using it to influence you.
The mayor leans back. He looks tired, as if a huge weight was dropped on him.
I don't deserve to continue as mayor of this town.
One of the guards steps forward.
That's not true.
I look over at the voice and recognize him as one of the guards formerly controlled by shadow magic.
I know what it's like when he used that magic. All I could think about was how I could become an honor guard. The thought was overwhelming and I'd do anything to achieve it. I know that wasn't the real you, Mayor.
The other formerly controlled guard steps forward and nods.
Me too. Little Garrett still plays with the toy sword you gave him for his birthday. Says he's practicing for when he joins the guard too.
The other guards in the room murmur their assent.
There's nobody who can run this town better than you.
And it seems like he's got a great town behind him, too. How can you just walk away from all of that? They know you, man, much like you know every single one of them. The mayor glances at the hopeful faces of his guard. In this small town, I can believe that he knows each of them by name. Finally, he gives them a weak smile.
I suppose somebody needs to clean up this mess.
And who better than you? He gets back to his feet and turns to us.
I don't know how to thank you for what you've done for us.
Leanna smiles warmly.
I'm glad we were able to help.
Zack and I nod.
You must be exhausted. Please, feel free to stay at Ravenpass for as long as you like. You are always welcome here.
We are thankful for your graciousness.
Thank you.
The three of us leave the mayor to his business and head out of the mansion. Nice dude. Once outside, we glance up at the darkening sky. Leanna mirrors my movements.
We should rest up for the night.
Yes.
Agreed.
I nod.
I saw the inn back towards the shops.
Zack leads the way. After turning down a side street, we see the lighted sign for the Hog's Head Inn. I stifle a yawn as we head inside. Can we get dinner first? Because I'm a little hungry. Zack and I sit down at a table while Leanna speaks with the innkeeper. She returns with 2 room keys, looking a bit shocked. Wordlessly, she passes one to Zack. What's going on?
The innkeeper refused to let us pay for the rooms or food. Said it was by order of the mayor, and one he would happily oblige.
Well, I'm not going to argue free food and lodging. I'm okay with this. That was really nice of him. She nods. Another silence falls over us, but this one feels natural and not a bit uncomfortable. It's been a long day. After a few minutes, the staff brings out 3 steaming bowls and places one in front of each of us. Once the bowl hits the table, Zack digs in with gusto and practically inhales his food. I guess he's just a little hungry. Leanna and I share a look before we grab our spoons. Ah, stew again? She nods.
It's hearty and filling.
You're not wrong. Rabbit again?
Actually, this time it's venison.
Even better. I take a bite. Better than rabbit, even more gross. Tastes the same. Better than rabbit. No way. This is even better. Leanna grins.
I like venison more.
Gonna write that down in the waifu journal. I try not to wince every time I use my spoon. The fire has eased out of my body, but my shoulder still throbs from when I landed on the ground. Leanna glances at me, then gets up and walks back to the innkeeper. She returns with a compress in her hand. She offers it to me with a smile.
This should help with the pain.
Thank you. I hold it against my shoulder and smile appreciatively as the pain slowly melts into a dull ache.
Thanks for helping me back there.
I smile. Anytime, will you just love me already? I continue digging into my meal. So what exactly makes shadow magic bad?
It's far more dangerous than any other elemental magic, and it's incredibly unstable and volatile. The most serious thought of shadow magic is how it's able to amplify the shadowy thoughts of someone's mind.
So the treasurer was manipulating what the mayor was already feeling? She nods.
He might have wanted to help the town by looking to expand, but there's also a bit of selfishness on his part for wanting to do that too. Either greed from more money coming in and more luxurious goods, or wanting more fame and recognition.
That's deep.
Everyone has thoughts like that. It's just a matter of keeping those thoughts in check.
Leanna nods.
Shadow magic, unfortunately, lets those desires loose in a destructive way.
Is there any way to block against it?
Unless you are a mage, not really.
Leanna picks at her food.
Most people can't control the magic well, and it's very easy for it to backfire and cause more harm to the caster than the intended target.
That treasurer seemed to be handling it well. She looks even more worried.
I know. Which is even more troubling, considering the fact that shadow magic is outlawed in Havengard.
So where did this guy come from? Zack pushes the now empty bowl away from him.
I think he's part of Void.
Leanna's frown deepens.
I think so too. I noticed the branding on his forearm.
What's Void?
They're practitioners of shadow magic. They first rose to power during the struggle of the Three Kingdoms, before the Treaty of Azaria. They wanted to grow their power in the outreach of shadow magic, and a lot of innocent people were killed in the process.
So it was all fun and games until the Fire Nation attacked?
At the height of their
the
power,
Shadow Mages?
They grew so powerful and were so destructive that the Three Kingdoms had to set aside their differences and band together.
Well, damn.
That's when the treaty was formed. Part of the agreement was to outlaw shadow magic.
Are you really telling me it took 3 kingdoms to take down one cult?
Shadow magic is a lot more powerful than any other elemental magic, which is why there are people who still want to practice it. It's impossible to stabilize the magic, so it's deemed too dangerous to be used.
Zack nods. I see. No wonder both Leanna and Zack seemed so grim when they first noticed the shadow magic. I stifle another yawn. No, stop it, no sleeping.
Is everyone done eating?
I don't think Zack is, though. Zack and I both nod.
Then I suggest we head to bed.
I second that motion. I'm exhausted.
I know.
She grins, and I can feel a rush of warmth to my face. I guess she saw my yawn. Zack leads the way upstairs, clutching one of the keys. We stop in front of the 2 adjoining doors.
Well, good night then.
Good night. Zack nods. Leanna turns the key and lets herself into the room, then gently closes the door behind her. Zack also turns the key and lets himself into the second room. As I'm about to follow him in, the door slams shut. Jerk. Very funny. I turn the handle, but it's locked. Very funny. What the hell? Zack, let me in. He ignores me, so I pound on the door. Come on, let me in. He doesn't answer, but a couple of people poke their heads out of the rooms and glare at me. It's him? I'm gonna try to be a little, I'm gonna try this again, because as much as I want to try Leanna's room, she's not gonna do that. I'm trying again. I continue hammering repeatedly on the door. I can keep this up all night. Try me. Suddenly, the door swings open, and I walk in. The first thing I notice are the 2 twin beds. Zack lounges on one and fixes his stony gaze on me. What the hell was that? Why didn't you let me in?
No space.
I beg pardon? There are 2 beds. Zack wordlessly walks over to the other bed and pulls back the blankets. Tucked inside the bed are both of his dischargers. You're weird. Not cool, man. Not cool. I go to remove the weapons.
What are you doing?
Getting into bed. Guns don't belong in my bed. This is my bed.
But then where will they sleep?
With you, you giant baby. I just look at him. Finally, he sighs and collects his dischargers. He's so weird. I lie back on the bed, and as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm asleep. And out. And now it's morning. I'm rudely awoken by boisterous yells. As I blink my eyes open, I see the Pongo planted on Zach's face. Great. What is going on? Zach leaps off the bed, continuing his scolding. The Pongo scurries under the pillow. I think you scared him.
Get out of there!
He snatches the pillow to reveal the Pongo contently bobbling over his dischargers. The Pongo's eyes are slitted shut and he wears a silly grin.
Don't even think about it.
Zach scoops up his dischargers and forcefully gives them a shake. The Pongo's eyes snap open as he wobbles in the air, clinging for dear life.
Poi!
How are you holding on? Zach doesn't cease his shaking, and somehow the Pongo seems to be hanging on.
Poi!
His small body jiggles up and down until he finally bounces to the floor.
Poi poi!
He glares daggers at Zach, who is too busy inspecting his dischargers to notice. There's a sharp knock on the door. Oh, I hope they didn't get woken up by this. Barely comprehending what's going on, I shuffle to the door and open it a crack.
I heard yelling. Is everything
She cuts off mid-sentence as her eyes grow wide. I look behind me and see Zach tangling his dischargers high in the air while the Pongo leaps to reach it. That's an image.
These aren't for you to absorb.
Boy!
I mean, Zach, he's gonna win eventually. I'll
just wait for you guys downstairs.
That's probably a good idea. Before I can answer, she turns around and walks away. I can't blame her for that. I close the door and start getting dressed. That's right, Zach. We have a Pongo. A long while later, I emerge from the room with the Pongo sitting on my head. Zach has his discharges back in their holsters and shoulders his pack. We head downstairs and meet Leanna, who is waiting at one of the tables.
Is everyone ready?
I think so. Yep.
Yeah, as long as that thing doesn't come near my dischargers again.
I can't actually promise that.
Poi poi!
The Pongo sticks out his tongue. That's adorable. Leanna speaks before the two of them can start again.
All right, then let's hit the road.
And we're going to do so next time. I'm going to end the episode here, ending it on a bit of a happy note. Oh, that's going to be fun to watch Zach and the Pongo get along. But, as always, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to let me know by leaving a like down below or leaving a comment. It really does help me out. And if you're new to the channel, or have not done so already, unleash your power by hitting the subscribe button down below today as well. And I will see all you heroes in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.